A rare white camel stands beneath the blazing desert sun. Its coat is almost pure ivory, a striking contrast against the golden sand. But how could this unusual animal ever be connected to a luxury handbag displayed in a boutique window in New York City? The answer begins with genetics. Albinism is a natural condition that reduces pigmentation, giving an animal its pale appearance. In camels, this condition is extremely uncommon. Most camels have brown coats that help protect them from intense sunlight. A white camel, however, stands out immediately, not just visually, but statistically. Its rarity alone makes it remarkable. In the world of luxury fashion, rarity often increases value. Designers and collectors are drawn to materials that few others can access. Light-colored leather is especially prized because it highlights craftsmanship. Every stitch, cut, and finish becomes more visible, leaving little room for error. But behind the final product is a carefully regulated supply chain shaped by livestock laws, trade documentation, and growing consumer demand for transparency. Today, exclusivity alone is no longer enough. Modern buyers want to know where materials come from and how they are sourced. From desert origins to high-end display cases, the story is not just about rarity. It's about responsibility, craftsmanship, and evolving standards in global fashion. To understand why albino camel leather draws attention in luxury fashion, we first need to understand albinism itself. Albinism is a natural genetic condition that limits the body's ability to produce melanin, the pigment responsible for color in skin, hair, and eyes. In camels, this condition can result in a coat that appears white or very pale cream instead of the typical brown. Most domesticated camels, especially the one-humped dromedary commonly seen in North Africa and the Middle East, have darker coats that help protect them from intense desert sunlight. A pale-coated camel stands out immediately in that environment because albinism occurs randomly and infrequently. Albino camels are far less common than their brown counterparts. That rarity is biological, not manufactured, and it plays a major role in how these animals are perceived in specialty markets. In the world of luxury goods, scarcity often increases perceived value. High-end brands frequently build their identity around limited availability, craftsmanship, and distinct materials. When a raw material is uncommon, it can attract attention from designers seeking something visually unique. At the same time, today's fashion industry operates under increasing public scrutiny. Consumers in the United States and around the world are asking more questions about sourcing practices, legality, and animal welfare standards. Modern supply chains require documentation, livestock regulations, and traceability systems to ensure compliance with both domestic and international trade laws. Understanding this context is essential. The story is not only about rarity or aesthetics, it also involves genetics, global commerce, regulatory oversight, and evolving consumer expectations that continue to reshape the luxury market. The journey from raw hide to luxury fashion product begins long before any stitching takes place. It starts with sourcing and verification. In regulated markets, legal documentation is required to confirm the animal's origin and ensure compliance with livestock and trade laws. Veterinary inspections help verify animal health standards, while traceability systems track the material from its source through each stage of processing. Once approved, the hide undergoes initial preparation. It is carefully cleaned to remove debris and then preserved with salt to prevent natural decomposition. Timing is critical. Proper preservation maintains the strength of the fibers and protects the hide during controlled transport to a licensed tannery. Inside the tannery, the transformation becomes more technical. The hide is soaked to rehydrate it, then treated in a liming process that removes hair and remaining impurities. After cleaning, tanning begins. Whether using vegetable-based tannins or carefully managed chrome methods, the goal is the same. Stabilize the collagen fibers so the leather becomes durable and long-lasting. For pale hides, additional whitening and color preservation steps help maintain an even, consistent tone without damaging the material. Next comes finishing and treatment. The leather is softened, stretched, and conditioned to improve flexibility. Surface finishes may be applied to enhance durability and resistance to moisture or stains. Finally, skilled artisans cut patterns with precision, maximizing every usable section of the rare material. Pieces are hand-stitched and assembled into handbags, belts, or footwear. Each product undergoes a final inspection to ensure consistency, strength, and craftsmanship before it is packaged and sent to high-end retailers. Albino animals often require additional care compared to animals with typical pigmentation because melanin helps protect against sunlight. Lighter-skinned animals can be more sensitive to intense UV exposure in desert regions. That may mean shaded shelter, monitored grazing times, and closer health supervision. These added considerations can influence how such animals are managed. Within regulated livestock systems, when it comes to leather production, light-colored hides present their own challenges. Pale leather tends to reveal natural marks, scars, or inconsistencies more easily than darker material. Even small imperfections can stand out. As a result, quality standards are often stricter. Tanners and craftsmen must work carefully to preserve a smooth, even appearance, which can increase production time and reduce the amount of usable material from each hide. Design also plays a role in value. A single premium handbag may require multiple hides, depending on its size, panel layout, and matching requirements. Designers often need consistent tone and texture across large sections, which can limit how much of each hide is suitable for visible surfaces. Luxury pricing typically reflects more than just appearance. It can include the rarity of the raw material, the time-intensive craftsmanship involved in cutting and stitching, and the costs associated with regulatory compliance, inspections, and traceability systems. At the same time, consumer expectations in the United States are evolving. Many buyers now look for transparency, ethical sourcing practices, and clear documentation. For luxury brands, meeting those expectations has become part of the product's overall value. Not just an added feature, but a central part of its appeal. Quality control in the leather industry begins with regulation. Government livestock laws set standards for animal identification, health records, and transport. When materials move across borders, international trade documentation is required to confirm legal origin and compliance with import and export rules. These systems are designed to create accountability and reduce the risk of illegal sourcing. Within global supply chains, inside the tannery, environmental oversight plays a critical role. Leather processing uses water, energy, and chemical treatments, which makes wastewater management essential. Many licensed facilities operate treatment systems that filter and neutralize wastewater before it is released. These systems help reduce pollutants and limit environmental impact, especially in regions where leather production is concentrated. There is also a gradual shift in tanning methods. Some producers are increasing their use of vegetable tanning, a process that relies on plant-based tannins rather than certain synthetic chemicals. While vegetable tanning can take longer, it is often viewed as a way to lower chemical intensity and appeal to environmentally conscious consumers. At the same time, ethical debates continue around the use of exotic or rare materials in fashion. Advocacy groups, designers, and consumers hold differing views about sustainability, tradition, and responsible sourcing. This ongoing conversation has encouraged brands to provide clearer documentation and greater transparency. In response to these pressures, many companies are investing in alternative materials designed to replicate rare textures without relying on limited natural resources. Lab-developed fabrics and advanced synthetic blends aim to deliver similar visual appeal while reducing environmental strain. As expectations evolve, quality control is no longer only about durability and appearance. It increasingly reflects environmental stewardship, legal compliance, and a broader commitment to responsible production in a global marketplace. Albino camel leather sits at a unique crossroads where natural rarity, skilled craftsmanship, and global commerce meet. What begins as an uncommon genetic condition in a desert animal can, through a complex and regulated process, become part of the international luxury market. That transformation is not simple. It involves documentation, inspections, specialized tanning methods, and the steady hands of experienced artisans. From livestock records to final retail display, each stage reflects coordination between agriculture, manufacturing, and design. Technology helps stabilize and preserve delicate pale hides. Skilled labor shapes and assembles each piece with precision. Trade systems move materials across borders under established legal frameworks. What may appear as a single finished product on a store shelf actually represents a long chain of regulated steps and professional expertise. But the conversation does not end with craftsmanship or rarity. In the United States and beyond, consumers are asking deeper questions. Where did the material come from? Were environmental standards followed? Were regulations respected? Transparency has become part of modern luxury. As expectations shift, exclusivity alone may no longer define value. Responsibility toward animal welfare, environmental impact, and ethical sourcing is playing a growing role in how products are judged. The future of rare materials in fashion may depend less on how uncommon they are, and more on how carefully and responsibly they are managed in a rapidly changing global marketplace.